I This is the more recessed side of my face. Mike Mew. You want to know what causes facial asymmetry? You want to apply the concept of mewing and the relationship between muscles and bones in to the whole body, and consider that it's all interconnected. So you got tight muscles, blah 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 blah. You're chewing on one side of the mouth, blah 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 blah. You've got less neurological power in certain fucking areas of the body, blah 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 blah. You've got misaligned spine, therefore energy distribution, blah 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 blah. You get the fucking picture. Anyway, I'd say it's coming along quite nicely. I don't know what that looks like. Maybe it looks fucking shit. I don't even know. I don't care. Anyway, I'm homeless. So, because I went to, Black Swan Land and, like, happened upon some black swans and didn't even know I was going to Black Swan Land. Anyway, you've probably seen the video. If you've not, you better check it out, because if you don't know, accept the fact that synchronicities are real. That should be blindingly obvious. Unless you think I'm jibbing you and you think I planned it. I can promise you I didn't. Um, so we've got this like apple crumble here that's like all over the place because I've just fucking ran up a hill. Um, and if you're eating this sort of thing, like if you're eating anything, you better consider like what it is that's fucking in it. So like usually there's milk in stuff, there's sugar, whatever. Like the milk's probably come from a cow that's like being mistreated and has suffered quite a bit, and the sugar's going to inflame your body and do all kinds of fucking shit. But we're not perfect here. But the point is if you like, you better appreciate, if you're going to eat this sort of thing like I am now, then you better appreciate the fact that something has actually suffered for it. We have this like, a parent might say to a child, like, you're being unappreciative, and if you've had something for your entire life, you're not going to appreciate it, because the idea is contrast. You only appreciate money, for example, when you've been fucking skint for ages. So if you want to be grateful, truly grateful, you want to like create some sort of deficit, or like, if you want to care about the suffering of animals, like you want to go to a fucking slaughterhouse and watch a pig get electrocuted. I'm yet to do that, but I fully intend to. And it's not like, in my opinion, right, a vegan it's a double standard, because I've spoken to trees, um, you know, they're conscious. Plants are conscious. So if you're living in third dimensional reality, and probably any reality whatsoever, if you want to sustain your life force, then it demands mortal sacrifice. And then they're talking about all synthetic, like lab grown meat. I'm telling you, there's always a catch to shit like that. So don't be thinking that that's the solution. The reality of it is that you have to kill to survive here. But if you're going to do that, and the only other option is to fast and die. So good luck with that, pal. Like, if you're going to do that, then when you like on the film Avatar, like when you shoot the arrow into the fucking like blue elk's neck or whatever, actually show it some respect, and realize that, like, or if you're farming an animal, like, ensure that it lives long enough and is given the opportunity to actually like enjoy its time on the earth. And you can say like, oh well, mass production, like everybody needs to be fed, we can't be yeah, but what are the values here? Like, you're telling me that, like, oh, we're going to treat all these animals like fucking garbage just because there's too many humans. Well, right, well, Thanos needs show up then, doesn't he? Only he's got the wrong philosophy because it needs to be karma based. You know, we'll just wipe out half the fucking population. No, like, it needs, like, there's a reason it needs to be some sort of, like, you know, bird's eye view creature that, like, does that, because otherwise people are going to get slain that would better off being fucking, like, don't deserve it. You know what I mean? That's very nice. Now, you know, Charlie the cow, like it won't be Charlie, it'll be Charlotte the fucking cow or something. You know, Charlotte's like, can't really be asked because some human keeps like coming in and milking her tits and filling her full of antibiotics and making her pregnant every fucking 5 minutes. But it's all she's ever known. But really, it'd be better off if she was actually treated with at least some degree of respect. Now, you know, it's all relative and farms are like different depending on who's doing it. But I think we all know that mass production's pretty fucked up. Mm. Anyway, we need to sit up here because I want me, you know, you want to be like, I'm gonna, I'm like, the woodlouse needs to be alright because I like him. You're gonna look at the more developed side of my face now, and we're gonna sit up and eat like a good boy to show like example. I'm gonna lean back a bit actually. So, you know, if you want a functional jaw and you want to be like breathing properly, you don't want like a recessed chin and, you know, the breathing ability of a fucking pug, and you want to look damn good, then you need to fucking sit up properly, chew on both sides of the mouth, ideally simultaneously, and like process the food with your tongue and swallow with the back of your tongue and not suck here, like so. Um, and if you don't believe, if you think like this is like rubbish, like, you know, traditional orthodontics is better, then what you need to do is you need to go and look at my fucking skull about a year ago on the channel Aiden Watts. And there's not necessarily like a profile shot on there. If I had access to previous devices, then there'd probably be about like 3 million profile shots because I was like, despite the fact, you know, when I first found out about mewing, like most of the young lads, you get a bit insecure and you think like, you know, like, I'm the fuck ugly. You think it, you know, you don't even know if you're doing it right, and you're thinking like, am I making progress here? But after a bit, you do sort of figure it out, and you know, I remember figuring like finding out about it when I was about 18, and I didn't do it consistently. You know, I got distracted, but it's I got depressed and overwhelmed basically, and it's subconscious. Like the primary factor for mewing is a positive conscious state. Crikey, the Rosas, like, they're not here to see us. Well, that'd have made the video more interesting if they did. Anyway, you know, in case you weren't wondering, like, I'm the devil. But, like, you thought that it was all about child sacrifice and fucking, I'll tell you what, if anybody's, like, doing that in my name, they better get to the break. You know what I mean? how many? If some other beings like posing as me, saying like, you know, we're pleased about it, that being's going further into the brig than can possibly be comprehended. Because I don't have anything to do with that. My principles look right. I can be very dark and twisted. That much is for sure. Um, but I've got nothing to do with any of that shit. I fucking hate it. And you might think I'm deceiving you. I'm not. So, and you might also think he fluttered his eyes down. No, I'm looking at my face because it looks beautiful. So, I can't, like, to be honest, this here, I want to look at this here, you know, not that. I mean, really, I'd want to look at somebody who's actually like, you know, my soulmate, and I wouldn't have to look in the mirror, which is where all this fucking narcissist, not narcissist, narcissist. The if you've ever watched Fight Club, like, you know, the card that fucking Tyler Durden gives him, it's like it's that like that you know, narcissist is like a fucking angel that falls in love with his own reflection, which typically comes from like an imbalanced sort of perspective that I would say usually is because of loneliness. Now, you might be thinking like, this guy's a loser, like he doesn't have any friends. I can make friends fucking well easy. The point is because I haven't surpassed certain thresholds in my life at the minute, I haven't attracted sort of like, you know, meaningful relationships, because at this present moment, if I met whoever those people are, I think that I would probably end up letting myself down. And I don't say that out of a sense of weakness. It's wisdom, if anything, because I will do it. Mark my fucking words. But the you know, like, if you're lonely in life, what you need to consider is that you're probably not attracting what you want, because you need to develop before you get it. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you got what you wanted, you wouldn't be ready for it. So you've got to be honest with yourself, people. Like, what is it that you could be fucking better at now? Don't be thinking about it in terms of like normal kind of perception of self-development. Like, I watch about 4 million YouTube videos, I do a couple of push-ups and then like suck my own dick about it. No, it's genuinely like, what is the necessity of my evolution? Sometimes destruction, you know, is kind of like the necessity. You have to let parts of yourself die. And it's not about being perfect either, you know. Like, I really love the film Fight Club. Um, because I identify with it in terms of my own psychology. Now, I don't think that I'm fucking Tyler Durden, but I have an imaginary friend, right? But the actual, in case you haven't fucking guessed, um, and that represents a side of my consciousness. Oh, just leave me alone, like, go away, people on the street. It's fucking, you know, you need to go to sleep. It's my time. You know, demons are nocturnal, like Halo is infinite, but Doom is eternal. And all that. But the fuck am I talking about here? But you've got to, honestly, right? You've got to realise that Not everybody has a fucking like good idea of what heaven really is. Some people's if you went to some people's version of heaven, you'd be banging your head against a fucking wall before long. You know, you're singing fucking like, you know, and he died on the cross and it was meant like 40,000 times like in a row. And then it's like, you know, we're going to eat some lamb. Like, no, we're not eating the fucking lamb because it's a kid. You know what I mean? We're not eating the lamb. We're not singing the hymns. And if I get in that water and I don't get wet, you better fucking realise that there is such thing as a towel. We didn't drown in the water. Yeah, well, like, can we not just put a fucking scuba kit on? Like, what if you want to drown? Like, what if somebody wants to drown and then, like, be revived and then thank the person that revived them? You know what I mean? The point is it's all relative. Somebody else's idea of heaven is your idea of hell. So, a warrior, right, does not want to sit in a fucking garden eating fruit all the time. He'll eat the fruit of knowledge so he can go to hell and start smacking heads together. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, he's gonna fuck his head up in process, but what's gonna fuck his head up more? Like knocking about doing nothing. You've got to fucking do something eventually. Fucking about's quite funny, but sooner or later, some serpent's got to turn up. It's a natural fucking thing in reality, and if it wasn't, then nothing would happen. And you can say, oh, the serpent was deceptive. Yeah, well, what about fucking God in that story? Like, you can't eat from that tree. Well, why have you, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, like, you're better off not eating from that tree. All right, well, now we're going to be thinking about it all fucking day. And don't be telling me that you haven't put the serpent there. And if you haven't, then how are you God? Like, you know, you should be in control of this. You need to get a grip on the situation. Like, it's off its head, this. There's a lot of beings telling us to do stuff. Like, don't tell me that you haven't fucking put them there. And what now? What, like Adam's like, what? I have to stand on thorns and my girlfriend's in pain every time she wants to give birth. Like, what the fuck is your problem? You know, like, you know what I mean? Anyway, this is 18 minutes long. Fucking 18 minutes too long for you, isn't it? Anyway, you need to go and watch lip syncing videos on TikTok because that's better than this.